Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is July the 23rd, 2021. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Only the beginning. Buying over crying. Be a unique beast. Fitting in is overrated. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. In motion. Offended by selling. All right, conviction. We've all got conviction here. Hello, my elite friends. It's good to see you all again. I'm on Clubhouse also, doing this live. So spread the word to the Clubhouse people. We're on YouTube doing this live. If you've got questions, I got answers. Do a super chat. Eventually, you can ask questions in Clubhouse. Get my attention some way. How I got my phone opened up. We already got a few people over there. We got people coming into the super chat. And a lot of you are wondering what's been going on, Adam? What's been going on? I'm in Nashville, Tennessee right now. This is going to be a long show. You're going to get unique beast topics. You're going to get no other place here, okay? I'm telling you like it is. But I want to thank Jim and BitPiggys for making this show freaking possible, okay? So you see me have the BitPiggys shirt on before. Here are their stickers. BitPiggys and Jim are linked to below. And please check them out. Jim is a great guy I've met at least twice now in Florida at the Miami event and in Philadelphia at an event. He's a hardcore Bitcoiner. This is a Bitcoin company, BitPiggys. And the dude that does the stickers is linked to below. Also, he's in Europe. It says stickers. I always get his Bitcoin Yanowski. Is that his name? Anyway, everybody, they're awesome. So why am I mentioning Jim and BitPiggys? The way I'm going to do shows from now on, this is it. Because you all know I'm doing pretty well with the Bitcoin and everything. I'm taking care of my health. I'm doing things that I like to do. The way you get me to do a show is you raise at least $100 and then I'll do a show. All right. So someone already just sent something in the super chat. Jim was able to arrange at least $100 for this show. So he took the initiative. People have been asking me, where have you been? First of all, check out. I just had a show with Cedric. It's linked to below. I had a show that was audio only that was Zimbabwe a few weeks ago that's linked to below. Don't be a lazy bum and let it be an algorithm slave, okay? Those are two awesome freaking shows. You have to find it your freaking self. Follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt. I tweet all this stuff out. Where have you been? I've been on Twitter every single freaking day, people. Come on. It's not like I'm hibernating or something. I'm there. I'm just not on YouTube. I'm out there. You just are served whatever the algorithm tells you to watch, and you're an algorithm slave. You're pathetic if you didn't know where I was. Seriously. And the way this works for now on is you pay, I give you the show. All right? So if you guys can raise 100 this episode, I'll give you another episode. Now, another way, and Jim and BitPiggys, they rock. And another way is if you want to just interview me on your own show and you can give me a copy of the show, that's free. That's what Cedric did. Cedric arranged a long time ago for me to be on his show. It was a 2-hour show. It was one of my best shows ever. Link to below. Watch it. A lot of you haven't watched it yet because you're lazy freaking bums and just watch whatever. And you're just algorithm slaves. Have fun staying poor. Pound that like button because that's how this is real here, the way I'm talking to you. I'll talk to you like a bum if you're a poor little bum and just do whatever the YouTube algorithm tells you to do. I don't care if you watch my show or not, or you think I'm a beautiful man. If you're an idiot, then you're an idiot. You can still think I'm a beautiful man if you're an idiot. I am a beautiful man, but what's that matter? That's fancy sets of graphics. If you're watching this on or listening to this on the podcast, you don't care what I look like. If you're listening to this on the freaking what's it called? This stupid cell phone thing. It's not stupid. It's Clubhouse. Then you don't care what I look like. Now, all right. So let me see what the people in the super chat have already said. Towers Comics sent $5 Canadian. We're getting there. Pound that like button, he said. And the great Johnny NY must be in Mexico now because he sent 50 Mexican pesos. By the way, I found 8 Mexican pesos on the ground when I was in San Diego. Yeah, I pick up money from the ground even though I'm a freaking millionaire. Pound that like button for the truth there. Good job, says OPSEC Classified. Looking healthy. Well, actually, when I was in San Diego, I went to Health Nucleus. I found out some health issues that I actually have. We'll talk about that later in the show. Yeah, I look pretty beautiful because I just had a 133.5 hour fast that ended yesterday that I did to restart my gut health. Man, you know, I do these. That's my record now, 133.5 hours. I ended it yesterday. But we'll talk about that toward the end of the show. All right. Let me see what else. And so, yeah, keep it sending in the super chats. I'll answer your questions if you do the super chats, definitely. All right. So again, BitPiggys, you could probably buy these stickers at BitPiggys. I've got a big BitPiggy shirt that I've worn before for all you people who pay attention. But it's packed away and it's not with me right now. All right. So let's get down to business. And if you don't like what I'm saying now and you're watching this on tape, just skip ahead. Just come on, man, or play it at 2x. That saves time. Whew, yeah. So yeah, Nashville, Tennessee, rocking it, baby. Rocking it in the free world. We're one day closer to a Bitcoin ETF. If you're asking me about, this person registered a Bitcoin ETF, this one didn't, dudes, we're one day closer. We're going to get there. How you could sell Bitcoin when we're one day closer to Bitcoin ETF, we're one day closer to a Bitcoin all-time high. We always return to our all-time high. I don't know how you could sell Bitcoin. I'm offended by selling. Yeah, that's right. All right. Now, there is one interesting thing I thought of during my this time that I've been not on YouTube. I mean, again, I just posted a YouTube show the other day, but I love going. I've recommended to people to go on a sabbatical, just get away from the world. And my 5-day fast or whatever, 133-hour fast, 133.5 hour fast. It was a time for a sabbatical, and I sort of. And I thought of something. We got up to what, 63,000, 64,000 before, and at that time, Binance coin was also worth over $100 billion in market cap. Ethereum, of course, was also. Now, during the last market unsustainable bubble during a bull market, because we are still in a bull market. Don't let these schmoes out there tell you we're in a bear market. We're in a bull market. It's just taking a little break, okay? But I wonder if we can extrapolate this to the future and to the past and whatnot. Whenever this time around, if a third coin gets to $100 billion market cap, then you know it's unsustainable and it's going to drop. And that's exactly what happened. Last time around, when Ethereum got to 100 billion, it also dropped. So I wonder next time around in the 2024 bull run, or 2025 bull run after 2024 halving, if it's a fourth coin gets to 100 billion market cap, if that means it's time for a drop. So I'm just pointing that out for all you people who love to look at markets and whatnot. If there's a third coin during this bull run that's at $100 billion market cap, we might be at an unsustainable point and you might be looking for a drawback, okay? We'll get there again. Don't worry. We'll get there again. But that's something to keep in mind. And I want to say Dance Happy Arrow had this tweet that's out there. The March 2020 low of last year. Of course it was still last year. He said March 2020. Sorry about that. Low was a generational low. I agree, and clearly, so again, the March 2020 low was a generational low. Yes, I totally agree. And that day I knew it, and that's why I bought 2 Bitcoin. And that's what government manipulated fear is all about. Okay, that creates a generational low. I stood strong as anything that day. I am so proud of knowing that was a freaking generational low that day. And it goes way beyond Bitcoin, what happened that day. That's what he means. Stock market crashed, everything crashed. So many weak hands just sold everything that day. On a generational low day. Horrible. So that's linked to below. I actually linked to basically everything I talk about today. I did find time to link to below. So bitpiggys.com, bitko.cc is linked to below. And the Zimbabwe show I did with my buddy from Zimbabwe, audio only. Sportsmeister.com, you can watch that on. That's all my audio only shows. So ignorant government officials. Why you put these people on pedestals? Why people write articles about them? Well, it's clickbait, and it works. But at some point, in the last few weeks, there was an article here at Decrypt, the blockchain caucus chair, that they even have a blockchain caucus in the United States Senate and Congress is ridiculous. I think the chair is from California. He's an ignorant fool because he wants crypto users to be identified, and he wants reversible transactions for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. He just says cryptocurrencies. He doesn't know what the heck he's talking about, okay? He doesn't even know what. Yeah, Bitcoin is going to... Yes, because a congressman said to make Bitcoin reversible, to make it reversible, the president and CEO of Bitcoin will do so because it's centralized, and you could do that. And that Bitcoin... What an ignorant fool. That he even think this is possible. This is what the blockchain caucus is. This is the government understanding of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They don't have a clue. They're post office workers, okay? For all of you fearing different aspects of what the government could do, they don't get it. They're posturing. They'll attack centralized entities that will serve as shields. We're going to talk about that in a second for Bitcoin. Sure, you can make certain, ICOs can be reversible, but Bitcoin reversible? And ban anonymous crypto. But ban what is this here? Wait, actually, Bitcoin is irreversible. Okay, didn't know it was ever. The chair said, identify crypto users. Dude, you can already identify crypto users. Do you know that, dude? Do you know that, Mr. Congressman? If you actually knew how to use you're a blockchain caucus guy. If you knew how to read the freaking blockchain, people make plenty of mistakes, and they can easily be tracked down. I bought from Coinbase, so you can track down all my freaking transactions, basically, most of them. So, dude, what you're demanding is kind of already there. And it's so funny. The criminals that are out there, the criminals have the same mindset as the congressmen, who happen to be criminals themselves a lot of the time. These criminals, they're getting Bitcoin is unconfiscatable if you do it right. But if you're totally trackable and you're storing it at a third party, you're going to get it taken away from you. So we're so early in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin that these people that are hackers and are able to steal people's Bitcoin, they're not even storing it right. They're not even doing it right. And they're getting busted. But yet then you have people that come back to me, oh, you see it's confiscatable? No, the criminals that are in Russia and Eastern Europe and Africa, they're just as stupid about Bitcoin as the political leaders. They don't know how to hold it. They're holding it at a third party. It's ridiculous. Now, the many aren't, but yeah. So we've got more people here in the chat that are saying things. Mexico, okay. We got people doing BitcoinMeister. Good job. Brian Jacotu says, good to see you're back. Yeah, I haven't been really gone. All right, Jay Lee Porter is the giant. He's in the house. I haven't seen him for a while. Good to see he's around. Crypto giant. You rock, man. 7'3" Bitcoiner. He's been on the show before. Best guest in the freaking space this week in Bitcoin. If you want me to do this week in Bitcoin show, you're gonna have to pay me $150 though. That's harder to set up than the other shows. So hey, we've only raised what? How much have we raised here? $10 today, something like that. I don't know what 50 pesos is. So we've got a lot. We got $90 until I'll do another show, unless you guys interview me or whatever. Then that's free. Okay, moving on. Play this at 2x, people, because this is gonna be a long one. Johnny sent 15 more pesos. I can't ever forget that video of yours that changed my life. If you have 20,000 US dollars instead of buying a car, buy Bitcoin video. Yeah, literally. If people followed my advice in that 2014 video, it was September the 19th or the 16th of 2014, when the Orioles were battling. They clinched the American League East on September 16th, September 16th, 2014. And I was still wearing my Orioles shirt then. Man, that shows how much the world has changed. The Orioles were like the worst team in baseball now, 7 years later. So, I mean, you could have become a millionaire because of what I said, or you could have just been obsessed with sports and bought sports cars and had fun staying poor. But yeah, there are people that have come to me, Johnny, who watch the show that say, Adam, you made me a millionaire. So with that in mind, I pay. Give some thanks if you want a new show. If you don't want a new show, it's fine. I tell people to freeload all the time, but there's just not going to be new shows. That's all. There's got to be money. So Offset Classified sent $10. That's good. And there are people. Yaron Brook does the same. I love Yaron Brook. He does the same thing. He raises $400 a show at least, and he does the same thing. He says if you want another show, pay $400 per show. And you know what Yaron Brook has done consistently? He says he doesn't understand Bitcoin. He gives the opposite. He basically says the opposite of me, not the exact opposite, but he gets paid $400 a show to tell people not to buy Bitcoin. So I mean, I've told people to buy Bitcoin all along. So Yaron has his CUCK people that throw him money and they gain value from it. So I think like if Yaron's gonna get paid $400 a show, I should get $100 a show at least. Because I've made people millionaires by just the simple Bitcoin advice. What's he done? He's told people I don't get Bitcoin. He gets paid $400 a show to say blockchain over Bitcoin. He says that. He literally says. Now again, you could learn a lot from Yaron Brook on other topics, but I'm just comparing and contrasting what's out there on YouTube. And Johnny says, Adam, I support you to the fullest, and he sends 50 Mexican pesos. Thank you. You've sent 150. You don't have to keep sending, dude. It's all right. There'll be other shows. Other people are going to interview me and stuff. We don't have to raise 100. If people don't appreciate it, they don't appreciate it. That's great. And I don't have to do shows. And I haven't done shows. And you won't get a This Week in Bitcoin show unless you get $150 going and you tell me to do it. So let's get back on track here because this is going to be a freaking awesome show. I have much to say. So we talked about... So let's talk about monopolies for a second. Yaron Brook has taught me a lot about monopolies. True monopolies are ones that are set up by the government. Facebook is not a monopoly, people. Google is not a monopoly. But the funny thing is that people like Elizabeth Warren and maybe the blockchain caucus guy, I don't even know his name. They are just from both parties go after they're going to go after Google and all these other companies, saying they're monopolies, saying it's unfair. It's unfair. These are hypocrites, okay? They are hypocrites in Congress because money, they want a complete monopoly on money. All of these people in Congress, they say, oh, no. You can't start your own money. We control money. It's wrong that there's competitors to the United States dollar. All right? We want a monopoly on dollars. That's what they say. They're not directly saying that. The people who want to break up a private business because it's a monopoly, they want a monopoly on money. So they're complete hypocrites. Monopoly is fine for them, not fine for other people, even though it's not a real monopoly. That's the funny part. And going back to Yaron Brook, he doesn't get the irreversible aspect of Bitcoin too. Bitcoin being irreversible is such a valuable aspect of Bitcoin that people do not talk about, okay? All right, we've got all these scammers out there that buy something from Amazon or your private business and then they do a chargeback. It's done. It's final. Now, some of these coins, they've been able to be reversed before, which is scary. That's why Bitcoin is the freaking best, okay? It is totally irreversible. Yaron Brook says Bitcoin gets its value because of people using it illegally. Okay, it gets some of its value from that. It gets some of its value from it being totally irreversible. That if you want to send somebody something, some value, they're getting it. You see it's on, you check the block explorer, you see it's gone through. That's it. You don't worry about it anymore. It's done. What's done, it's done. Irreversible is awesome. Now, super spreader event back in June 3rd or June 4th and 5th, I was at the Miami Bitcoin conference. All these publications afterwards, because some schmoes said a few people got a cold, said it was a super spreader event. Major publications said it was a super spreader event. All right. And I said, this is total nonsense. I went back to Baltimore after Miami, and my family read those articles. And because of that, we had my grandmother's gravestone unveiling that weekend. That's why I was back that Sunday. And there were issues with my family members. It scared my own family members. Okay. So, and I brought this up back then. It was 100% fake news. Have you heard anything about sickness coming from an event that had 13,000 people or more at it? A complete lie. When you are part of an event, you see how ignorant the media is, the mainstream media is, how little they really know, okay? That they deem that a super, and then they forget about it, and they get away with murder, basically, the mainstream media. And and I'm bringing it up again because there been no one said they were sorry, and I don't need sorry from them. They should at least write a retraction. There have been no retractions. Because the super spreader term, it's a total political term to shoot at your enemies with, okay? To try to use on mindless people to say this person is an extremist. That's what super spreader is now. It's a term that liars use that have no accountability. And and it's clickbait, and it works on the 80%ers, okay? It works. And sadly, it scared family members of mine. And I'm sure it works on all sorts of people who are smart too. Okay. It's a trigger word, and it's disgusting, and it was a lie, and it showed. And so if the mainstream media gets that wrong about a Bitcoin conference, what do they get wrong about Bitcoin? Everything. All right. So just put it in perspective. If you hear super spreader event, it's a lie. Sturgis was a super spreader event in South Dakota last year, right? Yeah, right. Okay. It's just anything the mainstream media think they can get a political leverage on. They're going to call that they don't like. They're going to call a super spreader event. This is the era we're living in. It's nonsense. It's over. That sickness is over, and it's been over for a while, and it's no threat to anyone anymore who takes the initiative to do whatever they need to do to make themselves healthy, whatever it may be. Now, but it was amazing how Bitcoin even got entangled into that mindlessness. All right, we talked about the $100 per show. And yeah, guys, there's in my archives, disruptmeister.com, there are 2,000 free shows you can watch at any moment. Right now, you don't have to watch this show. You can watch any of my 2,000 shows. Hi, Adam, you rock. Richard and Mary Jane in Kami, California. Richard Provencio Jr. and Jane, thank you for the $4.99. I just spent 28 days in San Diego, and from what I hear, they're making people wear masks in LA again. San Diego was beautiful. I actually took some small clips on my phone, and eventually I'll put together a compilation of me in Miami when I was in Little Havana. There's all these little clips I haven't put together yet of me just outside. But San Diego was beautiful. And to tell you the truth, for California, sorry, I got something in my throat. It was totally free, and people were having a blast. Unfortunately, that the mayor of Los Angeles or somebody in Los Angeles is trying to smack down the people. Apparently, it won't be enforced. I praise whatever a government official refuses to enforce the mask mandates in LA County. If that happens, it's totally ridiculous. Jay Lee Porter saying, keep up the good work. He sent $10. Thank you, man. And Bitcoin Vader says, Elon says SpaceX owns Bitcoin. Let's go. Actually, dude, I'm about to talk about that, and I don't care if he says that. It's noise. Of course they own Bitcoin. I mean, he owns Bitcoin. Smart people own Bitcoin. He does this song and dance game about Dogecoin and not accepting Bitcoin at test. So what? I mean, who cares? Even if he always has said he never sold his Bitcoin. So another one of his companies owns it. Yeah. I mean, the big news was in September when when Michael Saylor bought Bitcoin and for his corporation, and everybody since then it's become legitimate. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. Corporations were going to buy Bitcoin. So when a new like Rave Elevator, Elon, SpaceX owns Bitcoin, that was big news in the mainstream crypto media for days. And I was picking my freaking nose during it because it's not, to me, it's nonsense. Of course. I mean, who cares? Put him on a pedestal more. Put him on a pedestal more. And the pathetic thing is that when he made that announcement, Bitcoin price went up. So despite everything that I'm saying, there are all these weak hands out there that still worship Elon Musk. Every word he says, they follow. There are so many people in this country that do that. And it affects markets. And it's irrational. But markets can be irrational sometimes. It is, if you make your decisions about, what Elon Musk says in his randomly one day about Bitcoin, but he changes his mind often. I mean, he doesn't actually change his holdings because he's a freaking billionaire and he doesn't want to be poor. But the things he says they could be interpreted different ways. They change. And so if you base your Bitcoin approach on anything that man says, you're a weak hand. You're going to sell at some point. You just got to have a strong hand and you have confidence in yourself, self-confidence. Living, deciding on your what you're going to do with your financial life, the greatest savings device ever created by man. You're doing not you. I don't even mean you, Rave Elevator. I mean these people because the market goes up and down often when he says something, when he does something. These people are pathetic and they're irrational. So I'm not giving it, when I bring up that subject matter, I'm going to tell you the truth, that it's nonsense. It's nothing to worry about. It's like, why do you care, dudes? All right. So again, Johnny NY sent 500 Mexican pesos. I don't know how much that is. And how much is that, dude? Thank you, man. You're giving too much. You don't have to worry about it, Johnny. I appreciate the information you put out there and how it turned a deadbeat to a swan. Dude, that's beautiful language there. Turning a deadbeat into a swan. Shirts like this, linked to below. Get them below. I have more in this one for a while. It's all the nodes connected. All right, we've been doing this for 27 minutes. Yeah, this is going to be a long show. I'm trying to eat earlier now, by the way. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. I think eating earlier is better than later. So something else that that caused Bitcoin to go under 30,000. That was ridiculous because BlockFi, all you worship BlockFi. You people that can't control your own private key, they're going to give me interest. And there's been, and what's his face promotes the BlockFi. So people, the Italian guy, I can't even think of his name. What's his darn name? He promotes a BlockFi. He's a smart guy. He's a great entrepreneur, but he's not going to be right all of the time. And he goes by just his one. What's his nickname? He goes by his one short nickname. Oh, I can't believe I haven't read his stuff for a little while, but he's one of the money behind it, and he reassures everyone BlockFi is going to be okay. And again, it does have a lot of venture capital that might be bailing it out because I didn't think those interest rates were sustainable. But okay, so you're an ignorant fool if you give them your money. I say, I'm not an ignorant fool, but you're taking a risk. I shouldn't have said ignorant fool. You're taking a risk if you give a third party your Bitcoin. It's ridiculous. But New Jersey and now Texas and I forgot another state, a southern state that surprised me. Was it Alabama? All want to sue. They all want to sue BlockFi and say it's breaks some SEC regulation. It's a security. We don't need you to save our tuchluses, okay? And I'm glad BlockFi is serving as a shield for Bitcoin, but BlockFi is in regulators' crosshairs. DeFi is next. Yeah, I agree with that. They're serving as a shield. So when New Jersey made the announcement, people panicked and Bitcoin went under 30K. So what? BlockFi is not Bitcoin. It's a centralized entity. And even though I would never give them a penny of my money, I I'll say this. I think it's ridiculous these states are going after them. And people should just know on their own that, it's a risky thing. There's always risk involved if you don't control your own private key. Defiance over compliance, people. Pound that like button. I'm making sure that I'm not skipping anything here because I want to give Jim the best freaking show he can get here. Okay, I'm going balls to the wall on this. And I want to say another thing. People leave beautiful comments on my in the comment section sometimes. Please leave them. YouTube doesn't post them all now. Like, I see there's a comment and then YouTube doesn't post it. YouTube has become worse over the years. I've said this many times, and that's why I'm not doing free shows anymore because I just can't deal with this. It's harder to make a show on YouTube now than it was in 2016. And then people leave comments and they don't even show up. So I thank you for your comments, people. There was someone who got, I'm not even going to say what it was a reference to, but someone got it and then it didn't even show up. Anyway, okay, we talked about New Jersey. And I've been getting a lot of crypto scam emails lately at like 3 of my email addresses. I have many email addresses. Be aware, guys. Don't click on anything from any crypto company, even if you do business with them, all right? It's fake, most likely. It's really been ramping up. Happyflation is in the air. Biden's been lying about it lately, and his press secretary has. We're going to get back to it. They say inflation is good now, just like I predicted, or that it doesn't exist, but it exists. Oh, March 2020, let's go back to that for a second. A voluntary transfer of wealth from the poor, middle class, ignorant people to the smart and wealthy like me. You can cry about it now. You did it. It's your fault. All right? That's what it was. Now, there were some smart people that were in the middle class that got rich off of March 2020. But it is what it is. Weak hands transfer to strong hands. And most of the time, that's 80%ers who aren't financially wise or poor, who make horrible decisions, making the rich get richer. I love the free markets. There's nothing wrong with the rich getting richer. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you're a good person or a smart person. I mean, it sucks. I mean, that's like a slap in the face to some people, but we live in this world where the underdog, where the poor person, they are the good guy. No, they're not necessarily. They might be good people. Lots of times they're not. Quite often, the venture capital, the capitalist, the rich guy, he's the hero. Hey, welcome to the real world, dude. I know that burst some of your freaking bubbles out there. Keep on being in motion. Aim to be rich. Aim for success. Aim to just live your life to the freaking fullest. Don't complain and be a bum. And stop pedestaling bums. But I mean, you could do that. You're free to be a socialist if you want to. And being victim culture is mainstream culture. Fitting in is overrated, though. That's why I love being in the Bitcoin overlay. And we talked about a little bit of this when on the latest interview that I just did. So it's linked to below again. And I keep reminding myself to tell other people I will be on your show. Just you give me a copy of it. You make everything is easy for me. It's going to be easy for you, and we're going to have a great time. And people will get a free show on 2 different channels. Pound that like button. All right, we got OPSEC says, when you eat, do you just snack once a day, or do you eat full meals? Also, what is the best time to eat? I'm a 1 meal a day guy, so I never snack. All right, we're going to get later in the show. I'm going to get to the change that I'm trying to make. I fast 22 hours every single day. And my eating window, I was only eating like all my calories in like 45 minutes. And I don't think that was good after a while. So I'm going to go back. I used to do it in 2 hours. My eating window was that's what it should be. It should be 22-2. All right. So after my 133.5 hour fast ended yesterday, I went to this new thing. I ended my fast with a bunch of all vegetables, all good, totally awesome foods, a little bit of seeds. I was listening to Ben Shapiro. I sat down, I digested, I did a little bit more workout, and some time passed, and then I ate the rest of my meal. And so my eating period was 3 hours. And then now I'm waiting 22 hours again. Now, I think some of you are going to agree, like, why wait 22 hours? Why not wait 20 hours? I think you got a good point. I don't think I'm being rational. I think I'm a little bit addicted to the 22-hour thing. And I'm going to say that this may have not been the best thing for me all these years of doing this. You know, some of the numbers that I got back, I have a very high level of cadmium. And I have a level of cadmium in my body that a smoker has. And I don't smoke. So I've eaten way too much animal food, I think. And that's changing. I'm not eating chicken or beef maybe for the rest of my life. So that gets into I'll talk about this a little later. But I do want to share this. Health Nucleus was great. Okay, I paid a lot of money because this is something I value in life is health. And Health Nucleus did all these tests on me. And I advise everyone get a cadmium test and a mercury test. My mercury was fine. But cadmium is it's similar to having mercury, okay? So it's not good that I have a high cadmium level. I got to get that down. And so clearing out my gut was a first step there. And getting rid of animal foods is something. I improved my water filtration here. This is a pure, all of my water is going to be filtered now. All right, so that's a Beyond Bitcoin. So no, I look great, but you're never perfect. You can always get better. So I do want to. I think that's an important thing for all the people. You have to change sometimes. Like what I was doing was not right for me. And everyone's different. It's not. I am a naturally thin guy. The fat test that they did on me. I mean, I was record low. They looked to see if you have a fatty liver. I mean, I was on the scale of fatty liver. I was like the complete opposite, so much so that it was might be unhealthy. I was so skinny down there, okay? That's up to interpretation, but according to their measurements, I was on the unhealthy range of, the quote unquote fat test. I was too skinny. So that's something to consider also. I mean, you can argue. So what I've been doing, my diet, getting into ketosis or whatever, it's burnt the fat away. Did I really need to do that? Probably not at all. And being a lifelong thin guy, I maybe should have known that. And for all the people that are meatitarians out there, it might be good for you. It has not been good for me. The numbers do not lie. The numbers don't lie. So I haven't had I just ate beans for the first time in 5 years. That's how hardcore I got into eating animal foods. All right, so I maybe I won't talk about this at the end of the show because I did just talk about it. And I've said, people have said they're vegetarians, they're this, that, and the other, and I've said, I don't know if that's good. For some people, it might be good. I've changed my mind. I've seen some hardcore numbers. They give you every single number imaginable. And they do brain scans. And thank God Almighty, I don't have nothing wrong with my brain. And, there's all sorts of bad things that can be going on in your body that these scans show. And I don't have them. But I got some things to take care of here. And so, at that point, I was like, there's no way I'm doing it. I'm doing a show every day and I need to do a show. I got to take care of my freaking self here. All right. And pro tip here, dudes. I'm not as young as most of you think I am either. Pound that like button. So, there's just you gotta look out for yourself. All right, moving on. So what do we have? Oh, I want to go back to the conference and something that happened at the conference. Oh, well, okay. Actually, I was going to talk about the Elon thing here, but we covered that because someone else brought it up. All right. Yeah, I don't have to bring up the Elon thing because we already talked about it. And yes, Cedric was the dude who interviewed me. So when I was in at the Miami Bitcoin conference, all right, At the Miami Bitcoin conference, people were handing me all sorts of things. This crypto scopes of this woman, Hattie Parker, HattieParker.com. I linked to it below. She left this at the bar, okay? Not that I was going to pick up a drink at the bar, but I was leaning against the bar. And I saw this. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And it made me crypto investor and astrological consultant. She's a crypto psychic. Now, I think it's silly. But the world that we're living in today, I bet more people would rather get information from someone saying she's a crypto psychic than me, who has a track record of making people millionaires. People are just so into superstition, so into conspiracy. They need these easy solutions. They want easy. So if the crypto psychic, that's what WebBot basically was a crypto psychic. Whatever his name was, I forgot his name now. The one that people were worshiping in 2017 and 2016, he's no different than her. WebBot is no different than her. All right? That's what people want, easy answers. So she's got to do what she's got to do. She's an entrepreneur. She's a psychic. She says she's a psychic. And she's expanded her psychic activities into Bitcoin people and crypto people. She was there at the conference, apparently. I don't know what she looks like. Well, I do. I went to her page. And so people believe this. They believed WebBot. Why not believe her? And what'd she say here? In 2020, when the world economy shut down, I turned to astrology to inform my understanding of world events. The planet Saturn was together with Pluto, making a mess of life as we have known it. So yeah, that's her interpretation of 2020. I say it was, I agree with Dan Tapiero. She says it was Saturn and Pluto, and she's going to get more people, following her about Bitcoin than me, probably. Now, so you can visit her. I'm sure some of you are very interested in it. And one interesting thing about her is she says, if this is true, she's a smart woman. I have a BS in child development from Cornell University. If she got into an Ivy League school when she was young, she's smart. WebBot might be a smart guy too, but it's such superstitious nonsense, and that's what the world. So that's what people are craving this day: superstitious, easy answers. You put a mask on it. That's your protection. That's your security blanket. It's going to save you. It's superstition. It's just as good as this. It's just as good as Hattie here, but people fall for it. And so that's a unique beast story. You're not going to get anywhere else from the Miami Bitcoin conference. Johnny has cut out a lot of beef. Glad to see you're doing well, BTC Moon Guy says. And Johnny keeps on sending comments. Thanks, man. And people, and if you do want to lose weight, and I never wanted to lose weight, intermittent fasting is very good. It's good at regulating blood sugar. I never needed to do that either. I like having a time to eat. I like having a schedule and a system. But my food system, it's changing. It's already changed. Okay. The moment I got my test results back, I haven't eaten animals since June. Well, no, not animal. I haven't eaten beef or chicken since June 21st. All right. So I'll still have healthy fish and probably eggs. But dude, it's a lot. I mean, I was eating so much chicken and beef, so much chicken especially. Skin and fat, I was going wild into it. I was a wild animal because I looked and felt great. I still look and feel great. I was able to do everything eating that diet that I can do now without eating that diet. So my body was not telling me that something was wrong in me, but I've got some weird numbers. All right. I've got some weird numbers with the, obviously with the cadmium, but also with the absorption of iron, and my thyroid may be a little off too. I mean, we don't need to go into all my personal freaking information, but I just want to share that with everyone because it is good to get tests, and not just one. A lot of people get their glucose tested. My glucose is fine. They put this. This is awesome. This thing they gave me for free. I can check my glucose anytime I want to for 2 weeks. You need a prescription for this nonsense. Now, of course, they gave me the prescription. Now, again, it's really for diabetics and everything, but anyone should be able to buy this. Because of government regulation, you can't buy this thing. What's it called here? Hang on. Freestyle. All right. This Freestyle Libre is awesome. So a lot of people get scared about their glucose because they go to the doctor and the doctor says it's high. It's only one test, dude. Some of these things you need multiple tests for. This is the problem with going to doctor, and they don't tell you this. Just because you got a high, it doesn't mean you're a diabetic because it's high at one time. You might have done something wrong the night before or whatever. You had a bad sleep. There's all I have just seen how the numbers fluctuate on this thing. It's amazing. And yeah, when you're fasting for 5 days, it gets down, it gets below 60, your blood glucose, which is what's supposed to happen. But some places on the web say you should go to the hospital if your blood sugar goes below 60. No. If you're a diabetic, maybe, but it's when you're on a fast, it's doing what it's supposed to do. All right, I'm really getting into some beyond Bitcoin stuff here. But man, Jim wanted a show. Jim is getting a freaking show. He paid the money for this, so I'm giving him my all, baby. That's what I do. When you pay, you're going to get the freaking best from freaking Adam Meister, all right? And you can set up private meetings with me too. That costs more money, obviously, much more than $150, but that's always been there. My clients, they're happy. Let's see. We talked about, all right. Governments around the world went full Orwellian in less than 18 months without meaningful resistance. Think about that for a moment. That's from Gabor Gurkas. I mangled his name. Sorry, man. I do want all of you to think about that. Governments around the world, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, went full Orwellian in less than 18 months without meaningful resistance. So, and think about that. What does that mean? People will accept Fed coins with no resistance. They hid in their houses because the government told them that there's in the stuff that's going on in Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, countries that I've had a blast in. It's pathetic, and it's little resistance at all. And so, with all of that in mind, I want to say the New York Times publishes an op-ed making the case for central bank digital currencies. And these are some benefits they include. Power to shrink people's balances if they don't spend enough fast enough. That's negative interest rates, okay? That's negative interest rates. That's a good thing. And people will accept it because that's why we have happy inflation now too. They accepted Orwellian governments. They accept happy inflation. They believe every word that redhead says and every word that senile old man says. Full surveillance to prevent illegal activity. That's another benefit the New York Times says. Full surveillance. What's wrong with full surveillance if you're a CUCK and that you've accepted 18 months of this nonsense? Lower transaction costs. Sure, that's, if that was true, who knows if it's true, who cares if it's true? You're going to say that as a worshiper of the government. You're like, who cares if there's negative interest rates? Who cares if I'm being spied on? It's cheaper for me. Ha ha ha. All right. So Niraj says, to the author's credit, they make the important point, adopting a Panopta coin would be a huge reduction in privacy and autonomy. It's something that should be considered at the societal level. You think? Well, how about this? As an individual, the great thing is you don't have to be a CBDC, CUCK, okay? Most people will be because over the last 18 months, they haven't protested this authoritarianism at all. As you know, from watching my show the last 18 months and seeing me get kicked off of YouTube before, I have put my middle finger constantly at the authoritarians. I don't care if they're right. I don't care if not right, they're wrong, left or right of the political spectrum. I don't care. I have been a unique beast. I have stood for what I believed in, okay? And I have been right. And the United States has been the best freaking country to be in for all of this. With that said, we still have leaders that would love to have authoritarianism. And because we live in a constitutional republic, that's our form of democracy, not the mob rule democracy they want. all the things that these people, it's a threat to democracy, it's a threat to democracy. Such lies. That's just like it's the same mindless claptrap of what I was talking about before, super spreader event. It's a scary word. They are a threat to our democracy is a constitutional republic. They want to get rid of states. They want to get rid of the electoral college. That's getting rid of the constitutional republic. Because of our constitutional republic, because we have 50 different states, the federal government hasn't been able to issue these horrifying mandates on every state. DeSantis, Noam in South Dakota, DeSantis in Florida were able to fight back eventually in Texas. And because of that, they're never going to be able to enforce their authoritarian dreams upon us. Now, I talked about this on Cedric's show. You really have to watch it. 2 hours. Seriously, that was one of my best shows of all time. But we still thank God for a constitutional republic, because we've got all these screaming Karens out there that would gladly, give up their children to be more like China. And some of them are giving up their children to be more like China. They want their children to take something that's dangerous, that could kill them. I won't mention what that is, but I think you know what that is. Authoritarian collectivism is the default. And apparently the collectivism that people want right now is authoritarianism. Individualism is the accomplishment. Keep them being unique beasts, people. Now, here we go. How the government will argue for CBDCs. Low fees, greater access for poor people, which isn't true. Terrorists and money laundering. So yeah, there again. If you don't use a CBDC, you're a money launderer and you're a terrorist. Okay, again, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but I'm a freaking Bitcoin millionaire. So buy Bitcoin. Pound that like button. Now, names will never hurt me. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but names will never hurt me. Name and just get that. Go into the Bitcoin overlay. Amazing. We still have people in the that are dealing with this on whatever this thing is called, Clubhouse. Thank you, Clubhousers. At the end of the show, I'm going to let you ask a question, or you can ask questions now, maybe, if you get my attention. Nick Carter, great point. In college, people had expiring cafeteria credits. They went away if you didn't use them. In their desperation, as the end of the semester neared, people would buy 3 extra large pizzas and gorge themselves. But yeah, cash with an expiration date is a great idea. So that's what happens when you have negative interest rates. People are going to make irrational financial decisions if they don't really have true savings. They're going to keep buying, and that's why the governments love the CBTs, central bank digital currencies. If you are in a Fed coin account and there's negative interest rates, you're going to want to spend your money before it goes away. You're going to make irrational decisions. And that fuels the irrational economy. And with your Fed coin, they're easily going to be able to tax you too. That wasn't mentioned. Let me see what the comments are saying, because we have more people. If you were I, would you be really? I would be. If you were I, okay. Telling people to buy big chunks of Bitcoin in the early days with that much uncertainty and conviction. Johnny says he would be proud to be me if I did that. And I am proud to be me. I am proud. You can go back in my archives and see that I was telling people to buy with conviction when it was $200, $300, $400. Best show. Strong Hand says Rave Elevator. He sent $4.99. Thank you, Rave Elevator. You are a good supporter of the show. 123 No Skip says people will accept Fed coin and they are free to do that. I agree. I will only ever accept Bitcoin, and I should be free to do that as well. Same with the shot. I don't want it and shouldn't be forced. Agree. Freedom, baby. J. Lee Porter says he wrote Crypto Shrug as fiction, and now with CBTC is happening. It sucks. Yeah, he did check out his book. I still haven't read it yet. I also have that packed away with all my shirts. J. Lee Porter is the author of Crypto Shrugged. You can pick it up on Amazon, I think, or on his site. Just Google it. J. Lee Porter, Crypto Shrugged. I appreciate when people send me free books like that, and I will continue to promote him. and he is the tallest man in crypto. He is 7'3" for real life, and one of the tallest human beings on the planet Earth. When you get to 7'3", I think there's only 2 NBA players that are currently taller than him. So you're a giant. He calls himself the crypto giant. He's a giant. He's a great guy. CraigShip.com says, buy and hold Bitcoin. This is not complicated. Craig Ship is a man who has gone out of his way to support me over the years. I've gone to his location undisclosed location near Camp David, Maryland, and we've done plenty of shows together. He values his wealth in Bitcoin, and he also enjoys being around a beautiful sidekick. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about of the opposite gender. There are only 2 genders. Pound that like button. All right, now. Yeah, you can see some. Go to CraigShip.com if you want to see hot women. I don't get as enthused about it as Craig does. Obviously, I get and Craig. We're both, what we share in common is our enthusiasm for Bitcoin, no doubt about it. But Bree, his friend, she interviewed me. She did a show with me, and as I said, she did a show with me. I posted it. Matt Odell says, this is a question I get asked by people. He's got a great answer for it. I have no idea where the Bitcoin price will go short term, so I simply stay humble and stack. Alistair Milne says, if short-term price movements shake you out of your Bitcoin, you never had a chance. So this is the thing. The other day, I got asked during the replay of my show, because I was in the chat during the premiere of my show. Someone asked me, Adam, what's the low? Dude, who cares? If short-term price movement shakes you out of your Bitcoin, you never had a chance. And I have no idea where the Bitcoin price will go short-term. So simply stay humble and stack, all right? Now, stay humble, I don't know about that. I mean, if you're a freaking Bitcoin millionaire and you did it because when everybody was telling you to sell your Bitcoin, you should be proud of yourself, as I am. Now, and Alistair Milne does say the yearly open of 28.9 held again. If you want a number to pick your nose with, when we had the New Jersey regulation crash, it didn't go below what the year started as. This year, 2021. Who cares, dudes? We're one day closer to a Bitcoin. Bitcoin always returns to its all-time high. How many times do you have to say it? How many different ways do you have to say it? This is a great tweet from Preston Byrne. He said, if you think Facebook is a bigger threat to free speech than Wells Fargo or Visa, you haven't been paying attention. Yeah, dudes. If you don't have financial free, if they confiscate your money, I mean, compare it. Compare Wells Fargo shutting down your account because the government said you're a terrorist and then stealing all your money to just Facebook banning you. All right. Bitcoin is here to solve financial censorship. All right. Financial problems. Much bigger than your social problems. All right. Because it all comes back to freedom of money in the end of the day. It all comes back to freedom of money. So why people still play with Wells Fargo and Visa is beyond me, and put so much value when a bank announces they love it. Of course, all the banks are getting into cryptocurrency. It's going to be third party, though. It's the same darn thing. They will do what the government tells them, just like they do. You made a big circle. You got into crypto, Bitcoin, and then you end up at the same place storing it. What's the difference? Here's something for all you people that want you want Bitcoin, you want another Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. It's clickbait stuff. And Vinny Lingham even talks about this altcoin, Solana. There's this title from Decrypt. Is it time to take Solana seriously? Latest Ethereum killer may be the real deal. I've been in this game a long time. I've seen the Ethereum killers come and go. Ethereum is the next Ethereum, dudes. Why? Why do this? Why try to? I mean, it's a free market. It's clickbait. Solana. Come on, man. I mean, what was it? EOS before? What? I mean, how many ones? Why? Just hold Bitcoin. Why? And Vinny's got good and just because Vinny's got some bad takes on altcoins, putting it nicely, he's been right on Bitcoin. I learned a great deal from him, people. You can learn a lot from people you don't agree with 100% of the time. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a long show. Speaking of Ethereum, let's put some perspective here. 4 years ago, Ethereum is what right now? $2,000 right now? 4 years ago, Bitcoin wasn't $2,000, or it was barely $2,000. Just tossing it out there, just showing how big this space gets. And there's room. It's not a zero-sum game. There's room for everyone here. Even Solana. I'm going to the Solana to get my hair did. All right, now. Yeah, Solana is just as good as getting your hair done at the salon. No difference. All right, retweet this, people. Spread the word. That's another way. Bri Fit Dance is in the house. Adam, I'm going to be releasing my video about you soon. Spoiler alert, I mentioned your hair. Good. I hope you're not wearing a lot of clothes in it because people enjoy that. Your body is great. You work on it, baby. Keep on working on it, and I appreciate you did a show. And the guys on this that are watching this show now will drool over you, and they will send you more money than they send me, by far. So work with you. Be healthy and young and awesome. Bree, I think you told me you were born in 99 or 2000. You're young and you're beautiful. Use it, baby. Richie Rich, I made an allusion to you on the show that I did with Cedric, because during the show that I did with Cedric, he was asking me about Trace Mayer. I know a lot of you worship Trace Mayer to your dying days, so you should watch the show with Cedric because I do talk about some inside information that happened with Trace Mayer when we were at Tone Vase's Las Vegas event that Richie Rich was also at. I call in the video with Cedric, I just call Richie Rich the Canadian because he is a Canadian. There's a lot of Canadians watching this show right now. Sucks to be in Canada right now. If you're not, Richie's in Ontario, I believe, and some of these guys are in Alberta. Alberta's better than Ontario. And Richie Rich says the good old days, Vinny Panic sold on Adam's show at $1,200. Yeah, we actually talk about that on Cedric's show also. If you guys want to see that, one of the best shows in the history of my show, it was March the 17th of 2017 when Vinny Lingham made an appearance on my show that had Tone Vase and BTC Benny and all sorts of people on it. Ansel was on it. March 17th, 2017. It's in the archives linked to below. OPSEC says, long shares are great. We just need to make sure they take care of you monetary wise. And they did for this show. Jim did. Jim is taking care of everything. So you're getting everything. This show might go 2 hours. And literally it's going to delay my, it'll delay my eating, but Jim paid. BitPiggys paid. Check them out. Someone says best hair in all of YouTube. Are you talking about me? Because it's not. And I actually, BTC Benny actually has better hair than me. If you see us up close and you know how to judge a man's hair, his hair is better than mine. When I was young, a little bit younger, mine was might have been better than his. I don't know, but when he was a little bit younger, his might have been better. Who knows? But my hair is not as good as it was when I was younger. Not at all. I'm willing to admit that. Totally. But it looks pretty good. Now, Count Bitcoin says, I was a dude in chat under my old username that called Trace out in the chat about NWC at Tone Vase's conference. Yeah, you were. They were actually that day, there were a couple people bringing it up. Definitely. And what you'll get on Cedric's show that a lot of people don't understand from that conference, when we went to the scammies afterwards, we could not hear when Giacomo Zucco attacked Trace. Had no idea what was going on, even though it was just so hard to hear and loud. But anyway, watch the other show. It's linked up below. All right. I don't want to repeat what I said on another 2-hour show during this 2-hour show. Got to be somewhat efficient here. All right. Robinhood Crypto expects to pay a $30 million fine to New York State. I mean, these states are so broke, they run extortion rackets on the rich. I don't care what Robinhood Crypto doesn't own anybody anything. If you're stupid enough to buy Bitcoin through them, that's your fault, dudes. But Letitia James is running an extortion racket. All these attorney generals, they're broke, so they pick on corporations and fine them, and everybody accepts it because corporations are quote-unquote villains, and Letitia James and poor people, and victims are good, and rich people are bad. But that's the world we live in, and I'm just calling it out. I want to erase some of this so we can be efficient. And yeah, my gut health. I question my gut health. I need more research into my gut health. And I'm trying to learn about my gut health. Gut health is a real thing. It is a real thing. And it's not something I was educated on before. And I've become much more educated on it in the last month since I was in San Diego. Jack Dorsey and world peace. This is in my title, isn't it? And this is a really important point. Really important thing I'm about to say here. He says Bitcoin world peace could play a big role in world peace or something like that. I don't know what he exactly said. But he's saying this warm, fuzzy things that get all the Bitcoiners on his side and get all the virtue signalers in the common world on his side too. You know, maybe it's not that bad of a thing. Bitcoin and world peace. And you know what? Maybe it can help bring about world peace. He's one to talk about world peace, though. What his company does. Do you think Twitter has gotten the world closer to world peace? The way it acts, the way it shuts down people randomly, the anger that it generates from people, the hate, the vilification, the promotion of the evil over the good. Of all the now Twitter has brought communication to the world. It's done a lot of great things for the world. But as an honest observer, you have to say that it's brought a lot of horrible things to the world, the way that it's run. And it's a private company, they can run it like the freaking devil if they want to, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and be quiet when he's talking about Bitcoin bringing on world peace and that he's a part of this and that he's going to promote Bitcoin more. When his company, the company that he has become incredibly famous, incredibly wealthy from, and good for him for doing that, it's not bringing about world peace at all. It has been that contributor to hate and envy like anything that has ever been produced in the history of mankind. And that's why a lot of people want the government to regulate it and stuff. No, that's a step too far. But I'm going to say what it is. It can be 90% of the time, it is nonsense. You can learn a lot from it. As I said, most people use it for hate and evil and envy, and that is not bringing about world peace. I don't think if you think world peace is being brought about by a secular movement, by the Moshiach, may he come soon, you know darn well that Twitter has not been part of that at all. So he's got some nerve to talk about world peace when his greatest invention of all time has done the opposite to the world. And I haven't heard anyone else give that take. And I'm a freaking unique beast. And this is the best freaking show out there in the Bitcoin space because of what I just said. And I'm going to say it loud and clear. I've been doing this since 2013. You're not getting anything like that anywhere else. You're getting mindless dribble and repeats of whatever CoinDesk says, okay? And I'm proud that I can say things like I just said. But there's nobody else saying stuff like that. And and again, that I was giving that out for free for 2,000 shows. I did what I did. You're not getting it for free anymore at all. And I'm so happy Jim paid for this so that I could share that with all of you. Now, and that you know. And if you don't get that, you don't get stuff like that anywhere else, that don't pay me. If you don't understand why what I just said was different than and what this whole show's been different than other Bitcoin shows, and why it's special and why it's the best. If you don't understand it, then don't give me money. Don't. I don't want it. I don't want people here that don't understand this. I'm trying to cultivate. I don't need the masses. I just need people who appreciate it and know, and we can grow together. And it's great feedback. It's great when I get paid for this, because it makes me go more and more and more and just create more and more awesome ideas and be more of a unique beast. And I think that's good for everyone. And I'm trying to be good for myself. I'm trying to be healthy here. JP Morgan. All right. I'm not even going to quote these things anymore. JP Morgan is doing something with wealth management clients can have access to Bitcoin. Great. We knew this was going to happen. CoinDesk has an article, Bitcoin futures trading for Bank of America client. Yeah, great. Yeah. I mean, what? It's clickbait. It's noise. It's some. They put JP Morgan in the title to get clicks. All right. And they do it. It's not, and people are so superstitious. The same people that pay Hattie to get their crypto information, to get what Bitcoin's going to be worth on August 1st, are the same people who are like, oh, JP Morgan controls the world, I should be worried. JP Morgan doesn't control the world. You put them on a pedestal, and you shouldn't need their verification to know that Bitcoin's awesome. And you shouldn't be scared away because they're in Bitcoin either. They're nothing. They're just like you. You should be proud that you beat them to the punch, as I've said many times over. Oh, I almost skipped something. Okay, so yeah. Financialization was expected, dudes, from these dudes. And financialization can happen here. I have no problem with that. Just own the underlying asset. Don't buy the freaking JP Morgan or Bank of America version of Bitcoin, the financialized version of it. What is this here? Diversification for the sake of diversification here. This young guy says, I honestly feel that as a member of Generation Z, it would be irresponsible to not have near 100% of my net worth in Bitcoin. You need to diversify. Into what, he says. There you go, people. Into what? You just to blindly diversify for the sake of diversification? Do you need an attack vector like real estate? I've had that attack vector before. Micro Sailor explains why Bitcoin is a higher quality property than real estate. Hint, you can't move a building to Monaco if the tax environment becomes unfavorable. Why own these assets that tie you down, that are attack vectors? Bitcoin is not an attack vector like real estate is. Why diversify? Why own? Why? Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. Now, on a Ben Shapiro show the other day, he didn't say the word happyflation, but he called out the mainstream for saying that inflation is good and that it doesn't really exist. As I predicted, happyflation. And most people will not notice happyflation because they're just they're living in a comfortable dystopia. All right. So yeah, super spreader is a term to attack political enemies. And the Texas delegation. No one's called the Texas. The White House hasn't called the Texas delegation a super spreader. I wonder why. These people from Texas who were babies and who tried to say they were fighting racism or something. Everything, it works. It's a good tactic. Every political bill that a certain party doesn't like, they just say is racist. It's limiting voting rights because it's racist. So they go fly on a plane. They all got a virus that doesn't, it's a useless virus. But no one says they spread it to a bunch of people. And no one calls them a super spreader because it's just for political enemies. Okay, I'm going to talk about South Africa another day. It's linked to below if you want to read about that South Africa article. Everything I talked about is linked to below. But we got to I don't have time to talk about the South Africa thing. FTX, I want to talk about though. FTX has spent a lot of money on marketing themselves. They've got a lot of money. I like marketing. Someone's got to spend money on marketing Bitcoin. I have no problem. They spent $350 million in the last 6 months. They're targeting sports. It's no coincidence. The NBA arena in Miami is named after them. I don't know if that's the best use, but they're doing it. They've got a lot of money. Good for them for spreading. I have no problem with them doing this. And they're being, it's the first ever legitimate marketing push with high dollar on enterprise level ad spend. So yeah, we've gotten to that point in the game. Back in 2016, this was hard to imagine. We knew we would get here eventually. It's hardcore ad buys right there. And most of you weren't around in 2016, and everyone would have laughed about $350 million ad purchase. I mean, how much was Bitcoin worth then? All right, now, someone permanent. All right, what is this? Bit surprised. This is great. This is great. Whale Panda says, it's a bit surprising that none of the woke people have called securities laws systematically racist and got them canceled, trying to keep the poor poor. Getting things canceled is so easy these days, right? And he is right about that. It is easy to get things canceled. But what these people these reactionaries cancel is just based on emotion. They say something's racist that's not racist. They say something is classist that's not classist. They say that the system is this way, that securities laws, all this nonsense that you need to have a certain amount of money to buy a certain stock, to buy an IPO, not an IPO, a pre-IPO. That is part of the system. The financial system prevents regular people from buying Google and Facebook before rich people can. That is systematic classism right there, which in America today, you can extrapolate that a bit into race, because many minorities are in the lower class. So why don't some of these woke people go after those type of laws? First, they're ignorant fools. They take easy things. They want attention. It's too complex for them. It's not. I mean, they don't want to solve real problems. They don't. Their financial freedom is all about stealing your money, not about less regulations, more regulations to steal your money. So getting rid of financial regulations, truly freeing up the system, that's not part of their prerogative at all. So there's some great insight there into what these people attack. They could easily just try to cancel, and it would work if some group that was all, based around race and all that, since everyone is so touchy-feely about race this day, if they broke down the system that way, I think they would let up on securities laws in terms of that and let people get. But you know what? For me, I don't care. I can't get a Facebook IPO. That I wasn't a millionaire. What I could get was Bitcoin. And that is a true answer. And that is another thing these woke people could say is like, hey, we don't have the time to fight the SEC. We can't change the rules. But here's something that is true freedom, that is not racist, that is not sexist, that does not have any limiting factors to get into it. There is nothing stopping anyone from getting into Bitcoin. You could be the most hateful person, the nicest person. You can be green. You can get into it. You can pound that like button. And Jen, I want to read this. It's White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki admitted on Thursday, this was a few Thursdays ago, that the administration is contacting Facebook and telling them what posts that it deems to be problematic based on what the administration claims is misinformation. That is censorship. That is censorship. All the people, if Mark Zuckerberg on his own takes something down, if it's company policy that they're only going to support leftists, okay, that's company policy. If the government says, hint, hint, we're going to go after you and break up your quote unquote monopoly, which isn't a real monopoly, if you don't take down what we want, that is censorship. When the government decides on what can be said and what cannot be said, That is censorship. That is what she said they're doing through Facebook. This is something to be called out, and it is not people abuse the word censorship a lot. That is censorship right there. What Psaki admitted to, but since we are living in a totalitarian world now, very few people get offended by it, even in the United States. DeSantis derangement syndrome is real. In the media, there is a funny Twitter feed you can follow, DeSantis & Co. At DeSantis & Co. I linked it below. It just shows all the media examples of people going crazy over DeSantis, who probably is the front runner to be the Republican nominee if the previous president does not run. All right. And as I said before, high-fat diets, high animal food diets, they might not be hard on your body, but open your mind to the possibility that they are hard on other people's bodies, and that it may have been very hard on my body. And I did not know it was going on without the test. All right, so Jeff Bezos. All right, we've got massive big ups. What else do we have here? Todd Mackey says, listening to you concurrently on Clubhouse. Good. Pop into the chat when you're done. I will. I see you there, Todd. I see you there, Todd. You're double it. Double fisting with your, like they used to say when we used to get drunk in college. You're holding 2 beers. You're double fisting there. All right. Yeah. And by the way, it would be a shame if all that fat I was eating did more damage to my body than drinking in college did. Or the people who drink now. Sucks. That's life. BitcoinMeister, I remember that saying, why ask why, try Bud Dry. That is going back to the 90s, I think. Yeah, it is. They used to advertise it during football games, I guess. It seeped into my head. I wasn't, I probably wasn't even able to drink. When those, the beer advertisements that you remember are probably, you remember from times when you were too young to drink. And that's why they were good advertisements. They were targeting young people. Spuds McKenzie, even before my day, you can look in old Playboy magazines and stuff and see there would be certain sports figures that would appeal to the younger generation. That would be taste great, less filling. Boog Pal, I think they would use and stuff. All of you from Baltimore should know Boog Pal. I'm sure you've had Boog Pal's barbecue pit at Camden Yards. Pound that like button. What was he, the 1970 MVP? I know too much about baseball. I know too much about numbers. I know I'm a numbers freak. I remember numbers like that. My father got me into that stuff. God bless him, of blessed memory. It helped, didn't it? I became a Bitcoin millionaire, so it all paid off. No regrets, people. No regrets. No regrets. You can all, if you get sick, you can fix it. I had a lot of fun eating all that fat. I will say that. All right. And I feel good about telling you guys about it, like about telling the world about it. Because you can't, you have to admit when you made a mistake. It's good. It's good to admit. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. All right. And maybe it'll help somebody, save somebody else. And I don't want to having those tests, having a test done at Health Nucleus, and it's a lot of money. So if you're rich, do it. And I get to use them for a year now, and I'm going to have a follow-up checkup. It might have saved my life. It may end up saving my life. It might be that everything might be that serious. And I want to also put something out there about uncertainty in life. I love the positive aspects of uncertainty, that you don't know what's going to happen the next day. It's so awesome. Oh, what's Bitcoin going to do? What's the latest innovation? What's it going to be? But on a personal level, you want to know how healthy you're going to be. You want to know if you're really healthy. You want to know exactly what you're doing. And so now, going into the Health Nucleus thing, I was pretty certain about my health. And I'm now uncertain about certain aspects of it. I don't have the perfect system yet. I don't have the answer to all of my test results. I'm trying new things, and I'm looking forward to getting new tests on August 24th, I believe. I mean, the doctor over there wants me to do it sooner. I want to do it. I want to wait a little bit, you know. So that uncertainty is new to me, and it's the way you just got to look at it as something that pushes you forward. Okay, you got to keep on experimenting and be willing to fail, because you are going to stumble upon some greatness. So my experiments on my body, a lot of them were good. Some of them failed. So as a true entrepreneur, I got to come up, bounce back, and create a new system. But living with knowing that tomorrow I'm not going to have things figured out. Knowing that in a month I'm not going to have, I'm still going to be uncertain. It's kind of new for me. And I just want to put it out there that it's something we all have to deal with. And persevere, people. Persevere. It's an interesting, and I'm making it as positive as I can for me, because I love life. I want it to be as freaking long as possible. And I talk about this a little bit at the end of Cedric's show. But this newfound uncertainty in my life, reminds you of how short it is. So it gives you greater appreciation of life. But it just makes me frustrated how some people have put off a year and a half of their life to be scared. And some of these are my family members. And that because of that, I've got young family members. My brother is about to have a new child in a few weeks. God bless him. Named after my father, a blessed memory. And it's a girl going to be named after my father. But I'm not going to be able to see this child probably this whole year. And there's uncertainty in life. It would be very sad I'm not saying it's going to happen, but why keep on putting off all these family events? Family events are the greatest events of them all. Going to Disney World with your family and just putting it off. But you have to take into the other uncertainty in life. Why not do this certain thing? Do the thing with your family. Do it now, people. Do it now, people. Seriously. I can't do it now with my family because my family is worried about this nonsense, about all this nonsense. All of us are such successful people in my family, and we can't do it with my father and my grandmother anymore. It's over. We can't have these family events with my family, my father and my grandmother anymore. It is over. That has passed. And why do we continue to put it off when there is still uncertainty, real uncertainty? And just think about that for your own family. I talked about this with Cedric a little bit. And so it's very frustrating that the government and just the way people's lives have turned this 1.5 years, they've forgotten you got to live your lives. You got to live your lives. All right. I ramble about that, but I think you guys get my point. All right. CS2 sent $5. I do not invest in Bitcoin. I save in Bitcoin. I agree with that one. Pound that like button. Abraham Escamilla says, you were right. I was right. Good. I was right about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has just as much risk as crossing the street. Why worry about a virus? If it happened, it's going to happen. Live your life. I know. Tell me about it. Live your life. I don't want to say it with my grandmother's last a few months. My grandmother was healthy until the last 5 days of her life. But, the last, from March to September, she was locked up in her house. February to September, she was locked up in her house. It sucked. We could have had more memories with her. So nothing is certain. Now, this safety society that we've created, people just value this disgusting safety. Yeah, I'm having safety day. Yo, you're not living your life. You could find out you have a freaking brain tumor. Thank God I didn't. 1% of the people that do this health nucleus thing find out they have cancer. A little over 1%. This is putting it in perspective, dudes. So Jeff Bezos can spend his money any way he wants to. All right? Democrats blast Jeff Bezos' space trip, demand he pay more taxes. Such pure envy. Such pure AOC, Warren. They know that it's populist envy, okay? They know that's their shtick, just ripping on this dude mindlessly. He created so many jobs. He made things cheaper for so many poor people. No, he can't say it's a disgrace. He goes into space and pay with his own money. Embarrassing. This guy. Okay, we talked about unconfiscatable and criminals that they don't get it. Yeah, criminals in Congress don't get it. Russian criminals sometimes don't get it. Doug 2009 said, normies still worry about an exit strategy for Bitcoin when Bitcoin is the exit strategy. Pound that like button. Cedric said something awesome on the show that I was on with him. There is a difference between quitting and moving on. Think about that, people. That's, my doing a new show every day. I moved on. I didn't quit. With my food system, I didn't quit. I moved on. You can only go so far with certain endeavors. Then you move on and you change the system in a way. It might be drastic. It might be slight, but there is a difference between quitting and moving on. The guy who gets a job, doesn't like his, he quits, right away. It's not moving on. I mean, you know the difference. This guy, R. Van Nagy, somebody pointed out, this guy tweeted this out. He says, he sounds a lot like you, Adam. And I like this. The guy literally said this, value your wealth in Bitcoin. Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, best savings mechanism. Maybe he watches my show. It's possible. I didn't know who he was beforehand. Oh, here's a good one for all you weak hands. Again, the last few weeks, people have been scared about Bitcoin. Not only has trading volume since plummeted, but most of the coins that are being traded right now are being sold by investors who bought the top or very close to it. So it's unbelievable. Most of the coins that are being traded right now are being sold by investors who bought at the top. Why the heck are you selling? They don't know long-term. This is the ignorance of crowds in Bitcoin. They get in, they have no long-term plan. Thus, when there's a drop, they do the worst thing possible. So right now, during our bull market, during the trough of our bull market, so much that's being sold are people that bought in the 60s. Unbelievable. Someone said this in the comments. You can justify destroying anything if your standard for preservation is perfection. So the socialists out there are going to point to any system. It's not, these are Marxists out there. I shouldn't even say socialists. They can point to anything in America, and nothing is perfect. Nothing is equal. That's the awesome thing. And thus, they can say it should be destroyed. If their standard is perfection, this is totally unfair. It can't exist. It can't exist that this person of this skin color doesn't have the same amount of money of this person. So we have to rip everything apart. We have to analyze. We have to critically rip everything apart and just rip up the whole system. That is not logical. That's not your the standard should not be perfection. The standard should not be equality. It's personal happiness, okay? Personal happiness. James Lindsay is great on this CRT nonsense. He can be long-winded. It's for an intellectual type. You don't have to watch everything. I've enjoyed his videos. He brings up praxis. Praxis is the act of actually practicing your philosophy. the CRT stuff. It is a very important part of CRT praxis, actually doing it, actually spreading the word, not just talking about it and arguing it philosophically, implementing it. That is praxis. So the people who try to fight CRT and the Marxists, they have all these beautiful philosophical debates, which take time. It's a waste of time, because when your opponent is practicing what they're preaching and you're just being a genius intellectually, you're going to, about what you're preaching, you're going to lose. You are going to get destroyed. So guys, same goes with Bitcoin. Don't just talk about theoretical, technical nonsense. Buy and hold. Do it. Practice. And all of you people who are engaged in the culture wars that are out there, you're not beating them by getting into scheduling a debate with your favorite Marxist. Okay, you won the debate. Then the Marxist goes out there and starts a riot or something, or burns something down, or does something insane, or something that's not that insane, but does something. James Lindsay brought this to my attention. It was a great observation. The fattest state in 1990 was Mississippi. Is now slimmer than the slimmest state, Colorado, in 2016. Yes, that's how fat we've gotten. It's linked to below. I checked out it's true. And this is all on average and everything. Now, you can learn from these Marxists, some, all right? Some of them actually respect capitalism. Marx respected capitalism. He thought that capitalism would bring people to a certain point of greatness, and they would be so fat and spoiled that then they would rip the system down and steal from the creators, and there would be a utopia. That makes no sense, because all the creators would be destroyed, nothing would be created, and all the surplus would be quickly wasted away. They don't get that. But there's this girl out there, Ashley Frawley, who happens to be attractive also. I'm sure some of you enjoy her. I think she's a good-hearted Marxist. And she actually had a good tweet. You can learn from these people. Again, not everything you disagree with needs to be illegal. She said this. And this was the original point of the left. The left was not in favor of making everything illegal they didn't like. Now they are. And so she goes back to the roots. Not a reminder, and people hate her for this. Not everything you disagree with needs to be illegal. Take a chill pill. Be a grown-up. I don't like Marxism. I don't like these ludicrous opinions, but I'm not saying shut it down, throw this dude in jail, throw Ashley in jail. No, I'm not saying that at all. So before I go, I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Everyone have a great Friday with your family, a weekend. We've got other shows. I do have another show coming. My brother is going to come on the show. Again, he was on the show before. He's going to talk about Bank of America, how they screwed him with something. He's going to let loose on them. So some of you enjoy my brother, and I think a lot of you enjoy when people let loose on Bank of America. And so that's coming up. And yeah. Oh, and Jim, who sponsored the show, thanks again. Eventually, I'm going to interview him on the show because he's a big Bitcoiner. And we've been talking about that previous to this show. And I thought, Jim is a personality on Twitter. You should follow him. He's linked to below. It's not Surfer Jim. It's BitPiggys Jim. They know each other, though. East Coast, North Philadelphia, Baltimore, Long Island. You know it. Whatever. Oh, God. That's it, dudes. I think I covered everything I wanted to. Johnny NY says, BitcoinMeister, thank you, Adam. Love you, Adam. I don't know if we raised $100 for this show. I'll tweet out how much we raised, and then I'll say, and once we get to 100, then I'll do another one of these, just a freestyle show like this. Unless, again, someone comes with a specific topic, you could do a specific topic and just pay to play. Give me the money, and you'll get your show. Or you could just, give a little bit at a time, and eventually you'll get another show that's about just this, my topics. I'm Adam Meister, BitcoinMeister, DisruptMeister. Subscribe to this channel. Pound that like button. It probably helps. Subscribing sort of helps, I guess. I mean, the YouTube algorithm is nonsense. And I'll see you guys soon again. I enjoy doing this show. Thank you. Bye-bye.